do what you love.
Love what you do.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Let's get it started in here.
You've chosen a good product. You're ready to roll. You know, you have your inventory on Amazon. All the product research and all that stuff is a whole beast in of itself. We're not talking about that today, but that's very important. Obviously, you can't ignore that part. So the second piece is visibility. And visibility, it basically could be a lot of things, but essentially, visibility is does it stand out? You know, not like, I mean, fine, it shows up on the first page for your main keywords, but you know, is it going to really stand out from the competition? So I'll go over that, but let's start with discoverability and what you can do to affect this. So first of all, there's listing optimization. So some of you guys that are a little bit more veterans, you've probably heard all about this, and you know, if you've managed to do it successfully, you might have a recipe for how that works. But I will give a few pointers and what things are the most important things to look at, because there are little details that you might ignore. And of course, this is the type of thing that you want to consistently test over and over again, because things change with time, and you know, the truth is, other people are doing these tests, other people are optimizing, getting better. So if you're not doing that, well, someone else is. So shipping with Prime. So this is something that's very obvious. I shouldn't probably have to mention this, but it is going to help your product be discovered. I'll talk about that. Just run through these a little quicker. So product reviews, PPC, so advertising, we'll talk about that briefly, and external traffic. So first of all, title optimization. So here's the typical example. You have a title where, granted, yes, this looks very long. Anybody who's in marketing or who's looking at this from like a branding perspective, they're like, what the hell is this? But this is, in truth, this is what works on Amazon. And I can tell you guys that I got a little bit of flack from especially the brewmaster at Guru, because he's like, well, we went through all of the effort of getting an organic certification, which cost us a lot of money, it took a lot of time, and many hours of work, and you're putting natural energy drink and non-organic energy drink. Why did I do that? Natural energy drink has more searches on Amazon. So really, you've got to prioritize not only what has more searches, but also what has more searches that get purchases, right? So this is something you use a whole world of tools to figure this out. I know that the last workshop, Sam talked about WordTree, which personally I've used. I think it's pretty helpful. They take a little bit of a different approach, but they have actual legitimate data. So anyways, definitely do your keyword research, but make sure that your main, what I like to call your main money keywords, at the front of your, you want them here where it says Guru Light energy, natural energy drink, not all the way at the bottom. Right? You have a question?
Yeah, sorry. Would it be better to put, even before the, obviously Guru is like, it's a brand name.
Yes.
Another thing, it's not a known brand, but you put the relevant keywords before the name of your brand.
Right, so that's a very good point. And if you don't have a known brand, then yeah, definitely put whatever your product is, what's going to get you the searches, and that's going to index your product for the keyword that your main money keyword. That's where it should be. In this case, it's a known brand. So, what's up?
I think recently Amazon, for some categories, they put your brand name at the beginning and you can't remove it because of the style guide.
This is true.
I'm not sure they just do it.
This is true. I've had this issue with
shift around my title once or twice because of it.
Yeah, I'd say if you're working with brand that you're just starting out, like no one's going to be searching that, so you shouldn't prioritize it. So if you can get away with not putting it, then avoid it. But just to keep moving through, make sure that the order in which your keywords show up is also relevant to how those search terms are searched, right? So, for example, you'll notice that I put low-calorie, vegan, organic energy drinks. There's a reason why, at this point, I put organic energy drinks and not low-calorie energy drinks, right? Because out of low-calorie, vegan, energy drinks, whatever, the organic energy drinks is searched more. And I want those keywords to be together. And the other thing, too, is a lot of people forget to put the plural version of their product, and especially especially if you're selling a case pack or something that comes in multiples, like you should definitely always put both the singular and plural version. So basic things, but we often overlook them. You definitely want to make sure that this also reads well, right? It can't just be keyword stuffed. And of course, there are going to be someone to buy your product over the competition's product. You respond to any kind of objections they might have. In this case, we put love it or your money back. This is also a little bit of a risky thing to do because Amazon doesn't like that, but they let it fly for us. And people like this, right? And the other thing I've done before is in one of the first bullet points, I've literally put in a product review. So if you have a product review, a nice positive product review that has keywords in it that are great, just put it in there. Say, this is what our customers say about our product, right? Let them do the selling for you. But definitely pepper in your keywords wherever you can. Then you have the back end. So again, many of you guys know about this, but for those of you who don't, in the listing you can actually put keywords that wouldn't appear on your listing, but are very relevant, right? So I'll give you an example. In this case, Guru has a low-calorie, low-sugar energy drink, not a sugar-free. But probably the most sold energy drink on Amazon is the sugar-free Red Bull. Not the original, believe it or not. It's the sugar-free Red Bull that sells the most. So the term sugar-free definitely should be, it should be indexed for that, but we can't say it. Legally, we can't say it's not sugar-free. So that's one example. Using other languages, so if you are selling in the US, Spanish is really important, so don't miss on your key Spanish words. And then in Quebec, of course, there's the French keywords that are always helpful too. And these are things that other people aren't doing, right? So you're going to catch all kinds of low-hanging fruit by just simply putting in a few keywords on your back end. So don't miss on that. Fulfillment by Amazon, so again, this is not something I'll spend too much time on, but basically, if you're FBA, you're ranking higher than the competition that is not FBA. That's usually the case. I know when I did it with my own product, so not Guru, but my own brand, I was probably on the 4th page or something like that, and then just simply getting accepted into FBA, I went up 2 pages, just simply doing this. So it's probably incrementally what had the biggest difference besides getting reviews and actually generating sales. Okay, so speaking of reviews, this is something that I often get questions about because nowadays we can't cheat the system, right? You can't pay for reviews, you can't incentivize reviews. Amazon recently did a huge purge back in May where they basically said, okay, well, if you incentivize people to get reviews or any of that gets wiped. Right, so people who had like 10,000 reviews went down to like 0 overnight. So you imagine that as your brand, that's pretty bad. The cool thing is for anyone who's starting out or hasn't quite reached that level, it creates a lot of opportunity for us, and at least this is more legitimate now. So this, just a simple example of searching organic energy drink, you actually have the highest rating ones, not the highest number of reviews. Notice the top one has 360, fair enough. But then below that, so we have one of the newer SKUs on Guru, only 14 reviews, but it's up to the 2nd spot, right? That's a good place to be. So focus on the quality of the reviews. I think somebody mentioned turning a negative review into a positive review, and that I found to be really, really helpful because if you find somebody who has a negative review, that is a huge, I love it. I love when I get like 1-star, 2-star reviews, because now I know that I can surprise and delight this person somehow. The other thing too is that the keywords in your reviews are also indexable. So whenever you're responding to a review, because you can comment on a review, you can say what you're, let's say if it's a negative review, you can obviously try to do a little bit of customer service there, but even if it's a positive review, then definitely respond. Say thank you so much. We're a small business and we're glad to be helping you with your skincare needs forever. Yes.
Speaking of response, Amazon doesn't allow us to respond to reviews.
What do you mean doesn't allow you to respond?
Well, as a seller, you can't respond to a review.
You can. You can comment on the review, absolutely.
Not as a seller.
Yeah, you can.
Well, it's your buyer.
Yeah, well, sorry. You can, so what you would do is your because if you have an Amazon profile, presumably you're not necessarily using that to make your personal purchases, but you have a personal profile tied to it. You can change your public name
Right,
to your brand name,
right.
and then respond that way.
And that's not against Amazon's policy.
Absolutely not. And I definitely encourage it, because sometimes you'll get the rare person that's going to answer back, but more importantly, whoever is looking at the reviews is going to pay attention to this as well.
Right. And then you don't see the comments until.
And you could definitely message them as well. So through
Right.
the messaging system
You
on
don't see
Amazon.
the comment unless you click on it. The comment is not visible.
No, it's not. Correct. Yeah. But why leave that hanging? If you could do something about it.
So
Right?
you would answer even positive reviews?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Say thank you.
Unless you're being flooded with thousands of reviews, but most of us would love to have that problem. At that point, I would maybe hire someone to just answer the reviews for me. But yeah, essentially, I would answer all of them, positive or negative. Absolutely. And even if they're like mediocre, if they give you a 3-star review, ask them why wasn't this a 4-star? Why wasn't it a 5-star? In a friendly kind of way. But maybe you can help them. Like if maybe they didn't really have a reason. They don't like to give 5-star reviews. So sometimes it just a little bit of psychology there can go a long way. All right, so PPC is also very important, but I'm going to also say there's a bit of a caveat with PPC, especially if you're selling on Amazon.com and with certain product categories. So I was meeting with one of my friends actually about this recently, who started selling products on Amazon, and he was telling me, man, I don't know what's going on. This PPC is just too expensive. I'm not getting the results I want, and it's costing me a lot of money. And the profits aren't there. But the truth is, PPC isn't necessarily a short-term play, and it can also be, if you've never ever sold this product on Amazon before, then you need to anticipate that you're going to have some kind of a launch budget. And when it comes to this, yeah, you could feel like you're throwing money in a pit, because you're breaking even maybe if you're lucky on certain things. But the advantage that you have with PPC, which is pretty unique to Amazon, is that if you make a sale with, let's say, one of your most important keywords, okay, which you should be doing, otherwise maybe there's an issue with your product listing or whatever else, but if you assume you have a good product listing, then you should be gaining a couple of sales. Every sale that you get will contribute to your organic ranking for that keyword. So it has a halo effect. And that's kind of like the overarching theme of this, is all of this stuff has a halo effect that will pay dividends long term. The other thing is that a lot of people are afraid to use auto campaigns because you don't really have control over it. Basically Amazon decides what you're bidding on, what keywords you're bidding on. But it's also the only way, at least if you're a seller, it's the only way that you can actually advertise on your competitor's listing. So this is something that's kind of cool, is that if someone's viewing your competitor's listing, which probably gets, in some cases they might get a lot more views than you do, then you get to advertise, while that person is viewing that product page. And so you can maybe steal some of their sales, right? So you're stealing that market share. Auto campaigns do that, not manual campaigns. So this is why you're going to want to run both. And then lastly, you have headline search ads. So if you are a registered brand on Amazon, so if your trademark is registered, then you can do this. You can do a headline search ad, which basically, this is a great way to really get people's attention. It's not very profitable, I'll warn you that's for sure. The conversion on this is low, but the click-through rate can be really, really high. And so for brand awareness, it's excellent. So for a company like Guru, which obviously has a marketing budget, maybe larger than someone who's just a budding entrepreneur, this was something great, because now we can gain all kinds of visibility when people are searching for Red Bull or some other crap, and we would literally use words that are going to convince them to switch over. So see why everyone is switching to organic energy. This you can't do with sponsored product ads. So it's kind of a nice feature of headline search ads. And next to them, you can feature your top 3 products for that keyword. And they show your reviews too. So if you have reviews, it's a very helpful thing. And I should also mention that getting reviews is really, the order of this is also very important, because I wouldn't say that you shouldn't do PPC before you have reviews, but it's a lot more useful when you have reviews. If you don't have, there are other people that are also probably doing advertising on those keywords. If they have so much as one review and you have none, you know, then it's going to be an easy decision for the buyer in most cases, right? So keep in mind that you should probably work on getting your reviews first before you go big on PPC. And then lastly, external traffic, which external traffic is something that is kind of, it's kind of, the tables have turned on it. It used to be something that Amazon was like, you know, we don't like that people are sending traffic to this listing and it's not converting. Now, it's actually a huge benefit because they're seeing that they're getting a bunch of free traffic where like suckers like us are paying to send traffic to them, right? And I say that like, if you're obviously doing this and you're targeting intelligently, then it's actually a huge benefit to you. But the other thing that Amazon came up with recently, which is pretty exciting, is a better version of something called Amazon attribution. So, not to get into it too much, but basically the one, I think, hurdle that most people have with doing external traffic is because they can't connect the dots. Because Amazon doesn't speak to all of the other sources of external traffic. So Facebook, you know, you can spend $1,000 in Facebook ads, and then you don't really know if that converted. You don't have an actual thing that says like, yeah, like, I don't know, 5% of that traffic converted. I can't tell. I can make a guess, but, you know, there's no real way to know. So this program is in beta right now, where they're going to basically find a way, I guess, to speak with these other sources of external traffic to tell you what kind of sales you're getting out of that. So that's exciting, but definitely, you know, we talked about influencers a little bit there. Don't be afraid to do that. I think it's, personally, I'm a big ambassador of using influencers. It was something that we did, it grew quite heavily. Especially because, you know, it was a product that connected with the younger demographic, so it was just the right space to advertise it, and that demographic, you know, which a lot of you are part of, doesn't like advertising, to be honest. Like, they don't like to listen to ads. It sounds like someone's trying to sell you or pitch you something, which is usually the case, whereas influencers tend to make it a little bit more about the lifestyle, and so it's a more effective way to communicate to that demographic. All right, so quickly running through visibility, so image optimization, title optimization, and pricing and promotions, which is where like the real gold nugget lies with Guru. But again, you know, there's a reason why I'm showing you all this, is because this is setting the stage for basically going ham on Q4. One thing you'll notice here is that, first of all, there are a lot of photos, right? There's a total of 11 images on this listing. You can't do that if you're a seller. I'm pretty sure you're limited to 9. It's a vendor account, so you have a little bit more options. But nonetheless, use all of the slots. Use professional photography, and if it's something like this, you know, get a 3D mock-up done. Go on Fiverr, hire some dude for like $15, and they're gonna draw you up a beautiful 3D mock-up of your product. So don't cheap out on the images, because I'd say when it comes to your keyword optimization, you can spend 95% of your time on your title, and it'll be well invested. When it comes to your visual optimization, this is the most important thing, the images, because they're really how people shop. The thing that you'll notice here too is that the word organic shows up like 4 times. You know, if you look at on the can, it's like written 3 times, it's written there, so it actually shows up like 5 times in this image. So we're really trying to get a message across, and we're not afraid to use a little bit of annotation there on the side to say why this product is better. You know, why you should buy this product over someone else's. This is something you could do on the second image. Amazon doesn't like it when you do it on the main image. It doesn't mean you can't. There are a lot of people that do it. Some might call it more of like a black hat, gray hat type of practice. If you're an entrepreneur, you're probably comfortable with a certain level of risk. I think it's worth doing personally, and I've done it with other listings very successfully. One thing that we did do with Guru is that instead of just having the one can, which is what the style guide says, we actually put the can and we put the pack in the background, so people know that they're getting a 24-pack. The other thing is, sometimes it's very obvious, but just being clear about what your product is and what it does. You know, like a beauty product, it might not be very obvious that it's a facial product, but then you add, you know, a woman in the picture who's using it on her face, and then all of a sudden it's a facial care product, right? So some things like that might be worth testing. And On this point, there are a number of tools out there that you can actually use to test. One of them is free, it's called Listing Dojo, and it's from the people that made Viral Launch. This is something that allows you to test your images, so it split tests between two different images to see which ones get the most hits. You can split test your title, your price. All of these things are important to test. Like I said, if you're not doing it, somebody else is doing it, and they're figuring out what works better. So this is title optimization for visual. So here, we're still using our keywords, but we're also using some marketing language that's going to attract someone, right? If you're going to buy a beverage where there's a million other options, the taste is definitely going to be up there in terms of priority, right? No one wants to drink something that tastes like shit. That's the truth, right? The functional element is there. It's an energy drink, but then we talk about that it's delicious. We talk about the experiencing energy all day without the jitters, without the crash. So all of this is marketing language, but it's more of like that sort of, maybe I should investigate. Why is this one saying that there's no jitters, right? Maybe I should check them out instead of whatever else is here, because they don't really say, they don't say any of that. They just say energy drink, period. So again, kind of to highlight why your product is better, and do it at the end, but make it visible, you know what I mean? Because your keywords are still the most important thing. So getting to the thing that, and this is a simple thing, guys. It's not rocket science, but it's something that is beautiful in its simplicity at the same time. So first of all, pricing again, is an issue on Amazon, because you're right there with all your competitors. This isn't your website, right? You don't own that space, so you have to know how to price your product. You might want to use a repricing tool or use the repricing feature within Amazon. I've never used it. Personally, I prefer to go manual, but in any case, test your price. But also play with all of the promotion options that you have with Amazon. And I think that Samar mentioned doing giveaway or something like that. That's cool too. One of the things I found to be the most effective out of everything I tested was doing coupons, and there's a really good reason why. So coupons, as opposed to doing a promotion, they appear here. Your promotions appear in your listing, but a coupon shows up in the SERP, right? So in the search engine results page, it shows right there. An orange tab that sticks out, and this is all about visibility. So if nobody else is doing this, the thing that's interesting too is that you can actually be priced higher, and you have a discount, but somebody else is priced, let's say, the same at the regular price as you are with your discount, and now the perceived value is all of a sudden higher. So there's a psychological element to it, but there's also a long-term play. I did this little GIF to show you guys how to do it, but basically you go into your advertising tab, coupons. It's a very simple process, but thought I would show it anyways. You put in your ASIN, add it to the coupon. Okay, so this is important. You've got to choose a budget. So basically that is going to be the maximum spend on this discount. So if you put $1,000, once you've given $1,000 worth of discounts, it stops. The cool thing is with coupons, this is relatively new, is now you can actually do coupons, I think 6 hours, just 6 hours in advance. That's the lead time you need to create coupons. Before it was like 6 days or 7 days, something ridiculous like that. So what did we do at Guru that really catapulted the brand on a year-over-year basis? So first of all, we ran a very aggressive promo of 20% off. And some of you might say that's not that aggressive. But, if you've ever shopped for energy drinks online, it's pretty rare that you see a discount that deep. There's a reason why. They're very heavy products. They're very fragile products. It's very expensive to sell this type of thing. Online margins are relatively slim. So 20% was aggressive for the market. So learn what your market is and what's aggressive there. And we ran this during the craziest period of Amazon, which is October, November, and December. January is also pretty crazy, but basically we said, you know what? We're going to go ham on this period because we know that it's when 70% of the business on Amazon happens. And you could be the guy who basically grabs a small percentage of this massive wave, right? And it's going to be crazy to you because if you've started selling already and you've never experienced Q4, you're not going to understand what the hell's going on. You're going to see your sales increase by 400% overnight, and you're going to have done nothing. And you're like, what the hell is going on? And last year this happened with my brand where actually I was stupid, I didn't buy enough inventory, and I ran out very quickly, like just before Black Friday. So there is this incredible wave of demand that just flows through Amazon during these next 3 months. And the halo effect that you can get from that wave is very, very powerful. The way we did this is that we said, okay, we know that this is probably at best a break-even promotion. With everything we're going to do, we're going to throw Facebook ads behind this, we're going to run email marketing, we're going to do everything, right? Pull all the stops. And we're going to drive as much through this promotion as we can. In doing so, what happened was instead of getting that sort of 2% of the wave, we took a massive chunk of the wave. And now you created, especially this product, right? Because this is a repeat purchase product. It's a consumable. So it's kind of a little bit like there's more of an advantage to us because if we lose money on that customer the first time around, if they buy 3 or 4 more times, they become a lifetime customer. That has a long, long value. So a lot of you guys put your hands up before when you said, you know, when Zammer asked about, are you building a brand or are you selling random products? Most people were saying they're building a brand. If you want to build a brand, you need to have people that are fans of that brand, you know, people that believe in that brand. So those customers are going to cost you money at first. Lastly, I had one bonus tip, which I just recently came across. It's this tool called yasiv.com. And you might be wondering what the hell this is. But basically, you can type in a product, you type in a product in the search, and then basically you can see what other products people bought. And what this does, why this helps, is because you have to understand where your customers are coming from, right? So this might not be your product. You might want to put, you know, your biggest competitor's product, and then you can understand sort of what complementary products they're buying. In this case, it's a lot of the same stuff, a lot of energy drinks, but you know, you might find something that's selling like crazy, you know, and then there's a complementary product that's most often bought with it, and then no one's selling that product. You know, there's only a few sellers of that product, so that's a huge opportunity. So this thing's pretty cool. It's free, and yeah, hope it's useful for you guys. And that is it.